Also, the U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump's interview with billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk finally got underway on Musk's social media platform X following a lengthy delay caused by technical problems that kept many users from accessing the live stream. Musk said that massive cyber attack on X led to the issue. The internet can have bad players, and sometimes those bad players find different ways to harass or manipulate others. A denial of service or DOS or distributed denial of service DDoS attack is one of those ways. These attacks may render a device temporarily unable to connect to the internet. And for more on the interview, we have Nick Harper joining us from Washington. Well, Nick, the interview started almost with a 40 minutes delay. Do the technical issues with the interview add another layer of complication to Musk's and Trump's public engagements on X?
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly wasn't the start that either of them were hoping for. There was no way that people could get online. Like many others, I was trying to log on. I was faced with a page that simply said that the space was not available, and there was an emoji of a monkey holding its head in its hands. That was not the firework type start that both men were hoping for. For Donald Trump, this was an opportunity for him to get into the social media space, a space that really has been dominated by his rival Harris over the last few weeks since she took over from Joe Biden. She's managed to captivate many within her party. She's been able to create viral memes and able to effectively launch attacks on Donald Trump.
Right.
She, of course, as well as the Democrats, say that he has struggled in that space, and he was aiming to not just prove that he is able to capture new voters online, but also was hoping to use it as a fundraising opportunity. So 40 minutes of technical problems. Their conversation did get underway. It is still going on, hitting nearly the 2-hour mark now. Opportunity for them to discuss many ideas that they hold close to their hearts and ideas that they agree on. This certainly hasn't been a probing interview by the tech billionaire.
All right. Nick, can you give us the highlights of the interview till now?
Yeah, absolutely. On foreign policy, he said that Joe Biden, and remember, Joe Biden is no longer the man that he's facing in November's election, but he spent much of the 2 hours attacking Joe Biden. He said that Joe Biden was really the reason why we've seen the Ukraine conflict, that if he himself, Donald Trump, was still president, Vladimir Putin would not have dared to invade Ukraine. He also suggested that the conflict between Israel and Hamas was as a direct result of Joe Biden's policy. He spent a lot of the conversation speaking about immigration, suggesting between 50 to 60 million people from around the world will come into the United States illegally if the Democrats win in November, saying that most of them come from jails, that they're let out by their governments and essentially deported to the United States to enter illegally. He also spoke about his assassination attempt and said that he would make the economy better. And he had some choice words for his rival, Kamala Harris. He called her a third-rate phony candidate, called her a liar, and quite simply said that she was incompetent. He's managed to speak about many of the things that he talks about at rallies, but at this stage, the headlines here are being dominated not by the actual caliber of the conversation, but rather those technical glitches at the start.
All right, Nick. Also, as you mentioned that Trump enumerated on what he believes are Biden's failings, he emphasized on the impact of Iran-Israel crisis and the mishandling of the situation and the impact on America's standing in the world. Trump also continues to criticize Biden's handling of foreign affairs, particularly the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Did he say something on that?
He did. He spoke about the fact that if he had been president, that conflict would have not have taken place, that President Vladimir Putin essentially would not have dared to invade Ukraine. I mean, it's interesting to note that obviously his rival in this election is Kamala Harris, but he's spending a lot of time in his speeches at rallies during the course of this 2-hour conversation, essentially litigating what he sees as the failures of President Biden, a man that he is no longer going up against, speaking about how Biden has failed, how he has been a weak president, obviously trying to tie those perceived failures to his Vice President Kamala Harris, but spending much of the time saying that essentially Biden had not been strong enough as president to stand up to dominant world leaders, and suggesting that he himself, if he had won the 2020 election, would have been able to prevent those conflicts quite simply just by his force of character.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick, for all that update from Washington.